Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Richmond, intuitive medium. I want to come on here and give a little message regarding this past week and our beautiful full moon that we had in Capricorn. So I say beautiful in a grateful way because it was a bit intense. So if any of you have been wondering why the past week has been super, super triggering and intense for some of you, I have like a really cool download, I guess, that my guides brought to me because it was like massive for me. It was really gross. But it was for me to understand that this was shadow work. So essentially, super moon in Capricorn, closer to Earth, and with that casts a greater shadow. And so, what happened for like a 5 day span, really, before a couple days before the new moon, and then the 3 days of the new moon, was humanity actually acting in their shadow. So, not everybody experienced this on every level. It just kind of depends on where you're at in your own timeline and your own vibration. But it helped me understand that I had these intense feelings of anxiety again and feeling these old triggers that came up, these old like wounding and triggers that came up in me. And it showed up because I responded and I was living in the reality of the shadow. And so all of my interactions, all of my inability to regulate my emotions and the whole bit, it was like I was gifted the ability to step on stage into this play of what my life looks like in the shadows. And so I was like, well, what the heck? Why? Like, that's terrible. But really, the gift of it is that it's your ability to see, number one, what still is happening in your existence in the shadows. What are the things that are still triggering us? Who in our life, what relationships, even if they're really important relationships, what part of these relationships and interactions still trigger us? What part am I holding on to that is still able to reflect back to me some of the old hurt and wounding? Right. And so it's easy for us to sit back and be like, it's not me, it's them. Of course, that's how it feels. But that's why when you're doing shadow work, basically the characters in your reality, the characters in your play are there to reflect back to you, basically exactly the energetic vibration in what you're in. So when we're doing shadow work, what are these people, what are these situations going to reflect back to us? They're going to reflect back to us any of the pain, the hurt, the wounding, the programming that we're still carrying with us that is attached to our worthiness or our ability to make decisions and go forward in life. And so, although intense, also massively healing, because then we can identify what those triggers are, what the anxiety raised, like what alarms went off, and how we can look at ourselves and be like, oh, okay, well, this is still reflecting back to me. This person still has the ability to trigger this wounding. That wounding comes as like, a kid that has a worthiness or being left alone or abandonment or whatever the wounding is. Okay, so now what? Essentially. So, did we implode and have turmoil around us? And are we in the middle of breakdown in relationships? Maybe. Maybe we just internalized it all. Maybe we had emotional outbursts, right? So, now's the time to actually, without judgment, reflect back on these opportunities of growth. We can reflect back on number one, other people's opinions of us or our perception of their opinion of us actually doesn't have anything to do with who we really are, right? What their judgment is of us has nothing to do with us because their judgment of us is who we are in their play. So really, if you're off your target and out of vibration for you, then that's going to affect all your characters, right? But how we affect them, if we're being truthful to who we are, has nothing to do with us. So we stay in our lane, we stay in our vibration, we look at these gifts of what still is our triggers, what are these still wounded parts of self. Then we can remove the people who are stepping up to reflect that back to us. And then we can just have patience and compassion for the aspects of self that have come up, the voices of the wounding that has come up. And then we can, without judgment, look at those aspects of self with compassion and say, hey, there is still this aspect of self that needs some love, and that I still need to work with and talk to and relate with. And it's more of an observation than it is like deep work. So with shadow work, what we were able to do in an intense way over 5 days, where we were able to see what these shadow aspects were that confront us, so that we can take these gold nuggets and actually do the work with them. So I hope that this past week wasn't too intense for anyone, and that we're able to now see how, coming out of it, we can reflect on those learning experiences and give ourselves compassion, versus trying to navigate through maybe the turmoil that was the shadow. So remember, it's like a symptom. The shadow is like the symptom or the result of it, what transpired over the last week. We're to take all of that experience and give it some TLC of those aspects of ourselves. I hope this made sense. And if anybody has any questions, please write them in the comments. Share this video with anybody that you think might benefit from this. If you've had conversations over the last week that have been about this kind of turmoil, or if it's kind of been a season of shadow, then share it and come together, and so that we can start taking these little gold nuggets and then putting some love into it, so that we can go forward in the light and the warmth of summer. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope that this resonated. If so, again, share it, like it, do all the things. And then also feel free to connect with me. My name is Lisa Richmond. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram, Lisa Richmond Intuitive Medium. And of course on here, Beyond Boundaries with Lisa Richmond. So if there's any questions, again, please put them in the comments, and I will make sure that I get to all of them and speak on them as well. So I'm sending tons of love and tons of healing vibes, and that I hope that everybody can come back into the light and the beauty of the warmth of summer. So from my heart to yours, peace and love, and I hope that you're all enjoying this beautiful sunshine. Take care till next time.